Hi, this is Neil at In Veritas Vino. Today I thought I'd talk a little bit about tannin. I ran across an article by Bill St. John at the Chicago Tribune, which is what is tannin and what is it doing in your wine. And there's also a subset, did some research on tannin by Daniel Pambianchi, Tannin Chemistry and Techniques. So the basics of tannin are that it is an astringent polyphenol, which means that astringent just means that it is a chemical that when it comes in contact with the skin or tissue, especially in the mouth and other things, that it causes a contraction of the skin on a very micro level. And then a polyphenol is sort of a broad section of chemicals that I haven't exactly put a generalized label on, but quite yet. But that a subset of the polyphenols are tannins themselves, which are one thing that they're used for is for tanning leather, and they're also found in grape skins and stems and seeds and other things like that. So the basics behind the tanning of leather and the same concept in wine is that there are these polyphenols react with proteins and fats and do what's called polymerize, where they turn short chains of molecules into long chains of molecules. And so the effect in the mouth of what that does is that the short chains are actually goes sort of between the taste buds and hit the soft tissue and cause a contraction in the mouth, which creates an astringency. Now, the long chains sort of glide over the tops of those taste buds and the pores in the mouth and things like that, so that they have in wine it's a softer character, and so the polyphenols that exist in young wines, they're more prevalent in young wines, and they sort of polymerize over time in the wine due to chemical processes in just aging wine. And so in tanning leather, it's the same concept where you introduce a polyphenol, a tannin, to that the proteins that exist on that animal skin, and it polymerizes it, making it more malleable and softer. And so there's a direct correlation between that happening in leather and that happening actually in the mouth, which is kind of interesting. A couple other things that I wanted to touch on. One of the other things that tannin does is the preservation of the wine. It acts as an antioxidant, which means that it binds with the oxygen molecules and ties them up so that they're not able to affect other components in the wine. And so one of those is browning of the wine, which is a reaction. The phenolics create browning compounds, and then so anyway, the other thing that they do is oxygen can react to it can interact with the alcohol itself and create acetaldehyde, which is a spoilage component in the wine, and it can actually spoil the wine. It creates a bad odor and affects the wine in bad ways. So again, just recouping the oxygen is actually tied up by the tannins, so that they're not able to create a spoilage component both in the browning of the wine or in the creation of spoilage with the alcohol. So those are the basics that I came up with. I'm going to do some more research and get more into the chemistry and everything, and try to break it down in a way that makes sense. Maybe a lot to wrap your head around, but But that's sort of a start, and I'll start to use these terms a little bit more frequently so that they become sort of more second nature and stuff like that. So if you have any questions, email me at neil@inveritasvino.com or follow me on Twitter at in_veritas_vino on Twitter.